Now, office is a different sector altogether.
Yeah.
Let's understand, prior to COVID, office was doing fabulously well. Office sector, prior to COVID, was a saving grace for the sector. But during COVID, it was worst hit. Of course, there were other two sectors like retail and hospitality. Both those sectors have bounced back, but office is still taking a little longer. While it has not been as badly hit as it was during COVID, because work from homes, etc., many of those things are now gone. All of us, now that I'm sitting with you and recording in a studio, even that was not to be till recently.
Vivek was online with us. I know what you're saying. Yeah.
Exactly. So that's one lesson that, the COVID things are behind us. So most of us are back in our offices and workspaces. And that's something which is yet to show full result on office sector. Largely because the global environment is also not very conducive. So whether you talk about the energy crisis or you talk about the Russia-Ukraine war or many of the Americans and European countries going through still a prolonged kind of a recessionary or sub-recessionary kind of a trend, a lot of those reasons. And then as far as office sector is concerned, huge size of the occupiers are MNCs. So if their global spend itself is curtailed, for them to come and spend in India is going to be suspect.
Obviously.
And that's what is yet reflecting. Like to throw in some numbers, prior to COVID, we had almost about 60 million square feet of an office absorption in 1 year, 1 calendar year. Post that, it came down to below 50, 44, 43 kinds.
Wow.
Now it has already crossed 50. So we are inching closer to the previous peak, but in spite of that, it is still not very, very comfortable. And in office sector, the lessons learned are pretty prominent. And especially from wellness perspective, because they are very careful about the people who are coming to work in their offices. So a lot of new policies, etc., created for well-being of the occupiers, etc. So there, the lessons learned are still, I'm sure, those lessons will live for life now. So that's a new way of living life, especially in offices. I am not yet talking about social distancing per se, but that apart, enough of light, good air to breathe, air conditioners are well taken care of, fresh air, oxygen supplies, a lot of those things are now discussed. And even at a macro perspective, the wellness and ESG is kicking in, where people are also discussing how far workers staying away from their work of offices. And that those distances are also now discussed for the first time. Like, of course, earlier it used to be only a few of those rare organizations used to think about it. But today that is discussed because carbon ratings are coming in. So people who are coming from long distances, there is a question, how do you shift the office closer to majority of them to ensure that we reduce the carbon ratings, etc. So a lot of those discussions are happening and they are here to stay. So unlike a residential, the lessons learned in office will have a deeper mark and will live much longer than what we have learned in residential.
IVM